Are you or someone you know looking to buy or sell a home? When you use a HomeGain Realtor to buy or sell a home, you can get $150. Visit HomeGain.com and click on the Promo 150 banner at the top of the page to get started. Compare HomeGain Realtors and choose your favorite. Complete your home purchase or sale transaction with a HomeGain Realtor, and HomeGain will pay you $150. Get started today by going to HomeGain.com.
Welcome back, Washington, D.C. Metro, to Real Estate 360 Live. I'm your host, Ryan Sloper, joined today by my guest, Louis Cammarosano, the general manager of HomeGain. Reminder that the show is designed and dedicated to building the Washington, D.C. Metro's housing and credit markets one house at a time. If you ever have any concerns, real estate needs, the best number to reach out to us is 877-245-2030. That's 877-245-2030. Like I said, if you have any pressing concerns, you've been trying to get a loan modification done with the bank for, the last 6 months to a year, as I'm sure many of you have, without much luck, and you're not really sure where to turn, I can help you out with that. It's 877-245-2030. So there's some statistics, I believe it was from NAR, that was showing the difference between where we were 4 years ago as far as housing and where we are as of today. August of 2008, the median sales price was $210,900 with the 30-year mortgage interest rate of 6.48%, an average interest rate according to Freddie Mac. And the principal and interest payment was $1,330.26. Now, here we are 4 years later. This is as of August of 2012. The median sales price nationally was $188,100, which would represent probably at least a 10% decline in actual sales prices. But the interest rates have declined about 3%, as it was indicating 3.59% for the average 30-year mortgage interest rate, with a principal and interest payment of $854.13. So significantly cheaper to own a home now as it was opposed to 4 years ago. And, I think that is one of the important things to focus on here, guys, is that, buying a home now it's more cost effective. It's a lot cheaper to do so. In many areas of the country, you're able to buy a home, and in some cases with minimal or no down payment at all, just depending upon where you live. Obviously, in Virginia and Maryland, there's some certain first-time homebuyer programs where you can get grants from the state and put yourself in a position to potentially own a home for next to nothing, which is a great situation, and plus sub 4% interest rates. Looking at the overall rental situation in a majority of the Washington, D.C. metro area, you probably can't rent a house for the same price that you could actually own the home for. I mean, in many cases, it's more expensive to rent than it is to buy. Now, I can't just make a blanket statement and say that it's for everywhere, because obviously you got certain pockets where the market bears higher rental prices and some for lower rental prices. However, to be able to lock yourself in for 30 years at interest rates anywhere near that Freddie Mac rate of 3.59% is fantastic. I mean, to even think, isn't it hard to even fathom, Louis, that there's even interest rates for mortgages at that on a fixed level?
Yeah, exactly. I can understand it as the teaser rate or as an introductory rate or as a 3-year rate or so on, but to lock yourself in at these rates for 30 years, I think the price of the house should be a non-concern if it's within reason, because eventually you'll get your money back from your house in 30 years, but your mortgage payments as a percentage of your household income will go down every year due to inflation.
And when I see that, 3.59%, it almost feels like, that would be great if that was like a CD rate or something like that. You know what I mean? The fact that you can have probably your largest financial transaction as your mortgage that you take out be at a rate there is historically phenomenal. And, really, I mean, the difference between some of the fixed rates, I mean, I've seen a lot of the average adjustable rate mortgages are probably in the mid 2% range if people are so inclined to do so. But, I mean, obviously the spread's not that much different. But
when it rises, then you could get caught off guard if it goes to 5, 6, 7%.
exactly, and those are the things. And for some people, they make sense because people, if they're only going to plan on living in the house for, for a couple 3 to 5 years, and that's going to make sense for them, and they're putting money down on the property where they feel like that they're still going to be able to get out for it. The biggest thing they have to remember is that nobody knows where if house prices are going to go up or down, and you're not necessarily going to be able to sell the house just because you want to. You might have to come out of pocket with that. Versus if you're locking yourself in on the fixed rate, ultimately, when that point came, when you were either forced with a decision to either sell and or rent it out, you have that option and you have the luxury of knowing that your payment's not ever going to change. A lot of what took place during the boom and bust cycle was people had took out a lot of these adjustable rate mortgages or these teaser rate loans, negative amortization loans, where they were dependent upon refinancing every 2 to 3 years just to keep up, just to maybe take out more cash out of their property, more equity out of their home to continually be able to make the payments on those houses. Where now I feel like it's, we're kind of back to the situation where you really do have to qualify for the loan. I know that sometimes it's ridiculous that the banks won't lend to people when they're very well qualified. It's just their income on their tax returns aren't necessarily where they want them to be, but they still got tons and tons of money in the bank. It can be very frustrating. But the best thing that you can do is just try to work with a professional that knows the guidelines that can try to help you. Even if it's not buying tomorrow, if it's 6 months from now, a year, 2 years, and hoping that the interest rates stay where they are. Obviously, with Bernanke, with his open, checkbook at this point, it would seem that interest rates will probably stay low for an extended period of time.
He didn't he say something about keeping them low or trying to keep them low till 2015?
Yeah, 2015. I mean, it's crazy to think that if he's that far, if he's already, prognosticating that far out, that must mean that he really knows how deep a trouble we really are in.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because it used to
That's
be...
why it's open-ended, too. He doesn't even think a certain amount will do the trick of QE.
Yeah, well, if you remember, the Fed used to, do things based on, like a quarterly basis, but now we're 2 and 3 years out from now. I mean, how much is going to change between now and 2014? I mean, let alone this election. So, I just always say, err on the side of caution here. I mean, interest rates have so much room to go up. And, maybe Wall Street, and they come to their senses finally, and they realize that what's going on is not good, and they start to change their position in what they're buying, and they stop buying mortgage-backed securities. Now, obviously, I think all that would happen there is the Fed would just up their bet. They would just up the ante on the amount that they're buying of mortgage-backed securities to make up what's not being bought up by the private market. So, in essence, they're controlling everything, but right now, the people that can benefit from this artificial manipulation is people that are out there looking to buy homes and take out loans, if you're able to get them, of course. And I wanted to end the show. I had a story client, and this is another frustrated client that had been working with a bank. I won't name them for about the last 2 years. They gave them a temporary loan modification. And they said basically, hey, as long as you make payments for the next 2 years, you should be good to go. At the end of the 2 years, we'll convert you over to do some sort of permanent modification. Keep in mind, nothing was really in writing, okay? They had the temporary mod. The payment stayed the same for 2 years. 2 years now came due. Guess what? They don't want to do anything, okay? They just bought a little time. The borrower's right back in the same situation that they were 2 years earlier and is now stuck basically saying, well, what do I do? I've basically used up all my savings, and I have nothing to show for it because the bank's not willing to give me a permanent modification. So my options are to do what? And at the end of the day, the only option she really has is short sale or foreclosure. It's just another, this is what kind of makes me sick to my stomach, because a lot of the time these are good people that are trying to make their payments and, never missed a payment and doing everything, wiping out credit cards and their savings, their checking just to keep up. And the banks at the end of the day don't want to do anything to help. And, it's just very frustrating. But I hope that certain people can see that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And it's better to not bury your head in the sand and just let the bank take the property back. In this case, she is going to attempt to short sale the property which would put her in a better financial position come 2-3 years down the road. But, when you're running into, you feel like a dead end and you don't know what your options are, the best thing that you can do is to reach out to a professional. I'd be glad to help you out. It's 877-245-2030. That's 877-245-2030. And for many of you guys out there, we've been talking about, trying to obtain a home loan and buy a home at these low interest rates. If you're looking to do that anywhere throughout the country and you're looking for a great place to start your home search, to find a realtor that you can work with and select them anonymously, where can they go to do that, Lewis?
You go to homegame.com. You can find a realtor. We'll set you up with an account. You let us know what you're looking for in a real estate agent, and then we'll have real estate agents propose to you on an anonymous basis where you can see who they are, they can't see who you are, and they'll respond to you, and you can compare them on an apples-to-apples basis at homegame.com. And if you like one that looks like they have your needs met or they can meet your needs in a way that you think works, pick them. You can also get a free home value at homegame.com. You can search homes for sales, condos, foreclosures, new homes. You can check out our surveys. You can even look at homes for rent and compare renting to buying at homegame.com. Thanks, Ryan, for having me today. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Lewis. Have a great week. Guys, thank you for tuning in. We'll be back again next Monday from 2 to 3 p.m. But in the meantime, if you ever have any questions, concerns, or real estate needs, like I said, if you're trying to get your credit fixed up so that you could potentially buy a home, if you're, trying to get a loan modification and really not sure, whether you should even consider doing that or you should look more at a short sale, I can help you out. There's a lot of, questions that you should be asking yourself. Do you have a hardship? And, I have a list of probably 25 different things that actually constitute a hardship, which the bank might consider allowing you to short sale. Whether it's that or you're looking for a good lender to work with to, secure a mortgage for your purchase or refinance, I'd be glad to help you with that. It's 877-245-2030. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great week.